Cool. So the next thing we do, we go to the contract screen, which is in the general menu. We're going to create a new contract. So to do that, click Add. I'm going to call this travel insurance. Then I'll select an insurer, a couple of insurers in here. Doesn't really matter which one for the purpose of this demo. And we'll click Create. And what's that doing? It's creating a wrapper for us to basically put all those attributes of that travel person onto it, and then put all the rates and all the forms and all the documents onto. So the top half of the screen is a bit like a binder schedule. So we've got start date, end date. So we can just set this with some sort of base values for now. 1st of January to end of the year. So 2359. Nobody likes 0000 because we're not sure when cover is ending. And then we can select what units we want to use. So obviously, policy periods are generally in months, renewal and quote issuance dates generally in days. We're going to select the standard rate of IPT. We'll give it a reference of TRV, and then our UMR number for argument's sake, just that. And then for now, we'll just leave it like that. Click Save. Now, in our travel insurance policy here, I'm just going to give a nominal 30% MGA commission, which is the equivalent of 70% of insurer. Need to apply a country, so country dictates who the customers are, which country they're coming from, so UK, obviously. Assign it to a department. I should probably go and create a travel department. So what the department does is it controls access to the contract. So if you are a user of ParaCode, you need to be in that department to access this contract. And so I'll just put it in the management department now, so it's the primary one. A couple of other tabs here. So forms is where we create our forms, which are populated with data that then generates a rate. Files of documents we generate could be of templates or just static PDFs. Definitions. So a lot of this stuff is back-end stuff you don't need to look at, but it's telling you what mechanics are working under the hood. Generally, you don't need to worry about it. Contract item conditions. So this is about creating rules in the form. For instance, I might say, have you had a medical issue? If yes, then load each section of cover by 50%. Or it could be, I have a certificate saying I'm super healthy, give a discount or whatever. We then have another tab, confusingly called conditions as well. What this one does is it's where we surface all the endorsements. So subjectivities, warranties, exclusions will surface in there. And what we can do is link them up to questions in the form so that they generate automatically and then appear on the documents. Set up our claim suite. We need to add in any instant type. So these are the first step in reporting the claim. So on the we basically got an FNOL reporting suite. In the FNOL, you input what the instant type was. So it's basically picking from a drop down. And then as you work further into the claim suite, you get into more and more definitions. So you might start with third party injury, and from that you could then work further and further down the chain to get to the exact specific detail of what happened, using both drop downs, and we've got free text as well. And then that can all be surfaced back in the MI to support your sort of claims analysis side of things. And then last tab is web quote and buy. So this is surfacing the forms in a web quote and buy environment as well. But the one we're mainly interested in for this video is contract insurable entities. So we created our travel person, and we're going to give it a nice friendly name. And in our ParaCode test tendency, I have this broad idea of doing lots of these videos, and each one building a different type of thing you want to insure, all under the heading of my insurance. So we're going to call this my travel insurance. And later on, we have my car insurance, my house insurance, etc., etc. So base type is the one we've just created, which is the travel person. It is enabled, and for the purpose of this policy, we're only going to allow one person to be insured on the policy. Now, we can insure as many people as we like, but just for ease of this video, we'll just do one. So I've created my travel person, and then I need to select what attributes I want to appear on my travel person. So age. Now, what we have here, these were all the attributes that were on that entity definition page, this one over here. Now, in ParaCode, you don't have to surface all those attributes on a particular contract. You only have to surface some of them. Now, the reason we have that structure rather than just having everything at the contract level is you might have all these questions you're using for travel insurance. Feasibly, some of these will also be relevant for other things like income protection. And so it makes sense to be able to reuse all those attribute values you created against your person on other contracts rather than having to rekey in everything again. It also allows you, when you create a travel person for a travel insurance policy, you can then resurface all those details in, for instance, for income protection policy without having to rekey them, just by selecting that instance, what we call an instance, that exact person that you saved originally. You can resurface them in a new form. So I'm just going to pick all the relevant attributes. We may end up coming back to this list. Generally, so we've got 6 address lines, but generally I'll just choose 3. Some people like 2. Occupation is probably relevant. Town, postcode, and we will leave it at that for now. We should probably use unique identification because we can use that to capture the passport number as well. So once we've selected our attributes, so this was picking them, and then when we've selected them, they appear in this list. Now what we're going to do here is just prioritize those countries that we saw earlier. So our high risk countries, we're going to give a priority of 30 to. Our medium risk countries will give a priority of 20, and our low risk 10. What I think I need to do is just do these individually. Cool. Now, the reason I generally, in computing, 1 isn't the first number in a list of numbers, it's 0. However, rather than leave low risk as 0, we might feasibly in the future have another category of country we want to add in to this list that will be below low risk. It might be super low risk. So if we set it to 0, we then don't have a lower number that we can attach it to. So by setting it to 10, I could feasibly come in here and add other groups of countries below low risk countries at a later date. That's why, and also you do it in tens because you might add more than one of that. So we've now done our prioritization, and now we're going to create our cover types. So we've got on this contract, we've got what we call a cover type. It's a section of cover. It's that simple. We have the core travel insurance policy, and then we've got a couple of add-ons. So we've got cancellation, baggage, and medical cover. And the way we're going to rate it is pretty simple. It's basically, I'm going to offer 3 levels of cover: gold, silver, bronze, for each of these sections of cover. And then the rate will be determined by which country risk group you're going to. And so the higher the risk, the higher the premium, and the higher the level of cover, the higher the premium. It's that simple.